Good morning, everybody. This is Mbugo Njoroge, and I'm here to take you through specifically legal questions that have been asked severally for the purpose of clarity. I felt that it's prudent to do so. And this video will be loaded later on YouTube for your reference. Let's start. When are the investment funds paid and how secure are they? The investment funds are available if and when an enterprise meets or exceeds funding target prior to the fundraising closing date. When this happens, a lawyer attached to the transaction takes on the transaction. The monies are deposited in an escrow account, and once the legal documentation is signed and in place for the investment to proceed, the lawyer for the investors then makes the funds available to the business. It is the most secure and sensible way to have the investment funded. The second question raised: how do you prevent fraudulent enterprises getting on the platform? The conditions set for an investment to come to funding are extremely tough, discouraging fraudulent investments. Only real ideas, innovations, and enterprises with a sound track record will make it through. Next, the system of grading allows qualified outside business experts to grade the enterprise in an open and restricted format on a scale of 1 to 10, and to speak about their worries about the investment without any contact with the entrepreneur. The process of funding has a lawyer appointed on behalf of the investors to red flag anything that they see is inappropriate and to hold the investment process. Finally, on the board of directors of the funded company will sit directors who are actually investors in the company with powers to vet decisions and whose signatures are required to operate the company's bank accounts. The third question raised was, how long before I start seeing a return on my investment? Okay. It depends on how long the entrepreneur thinks they will take to get to profitability. You need to be aware of your horizons and invest based on the timelines presented. The quicker the entrepreneur projects that they will start to pay a return on their investment, the more investment shillings they will attract. If, however, the horizon to start paying a return is long, then it helps that when it does start to pay a return, such returns are extremely healthy. The fourth question raised was, at what point does Ninue step out once an investor has put money in an enterprise? Ninue steps out of the process the moment equity is transferred and the shareholders and the entrepreneur are able to hold an AGM, be that physical or a digital AGM. Ninue's role is to act as a broker-dealer, not to be involved in the management and the running of the business or enterprises on the platform. The fifth question asked and raised was, which law firm handles the legal matters of Ninue? This is a very important question. We have a team of lawyers who handle the transaction-related matters of the platform on behalf of the investors and entrepreneurs based on standardized contracts and processes. These are Simon Karita, Jacqueline Marubu, Veronica Wamoshi Kahiu, and Vincent Mungai, not forgetting Kapasia Muhonja. Sorry. That's the team that handles that's our lawyers, and that's what handles the legal processes behind Ninue. The sixth question raised was, what happens if an investor wants to pull out in the middle of the business due to a misunderstanding with the entrepreneur? They will have to refer to the Companies Act and take legal action. But it's a long, protracted process that is extremely technical and does not guarantee success. The seventh question, is there any government regulation on Ninue? Okay. Two distinct acts of parliament are at play when it comes to marketplace investing: the Companies Act and the Capital Markets Authority Act. Yet for direct regulatory purposes, the Registrar of Companies is the primary regular of Ninue, and its activities are specified in the Companies Act. The eighth question, are my money secure while being held in the escrow account? By definition of an escrow account is a temporary pass-through account held by a third party during the process of transaction between two parties. This is a temporary account, and as it operates until the completion of a transaction process, which is implemented after all the conditions between the two parties are settled. You will come to see when you look at the agreement in question for the transaction that the monies are extremely secure and dealt with a most judicious manner. The other question was, I think it should be the platform's responsibility to ensure that the first AGM has been held and directors have been appointed, and then it works. Then its work is done. Is that the case currently? Let me see. To a large extent, it is with the lawyers or lawyer assigned to the transaction carrying out this role. That's all that matters. The large extent of this is with the lawyer assigned to the transaction that will carry out this role. The 10th question is, can I bring in my lawyer to oversee this process and the operations of the company all through? Yes, you could, but there would be no contractual basis for the same. All the investors would have to agree to the same and new contracts would be drawn. Second, the cost upon you will be extremely prohibitive. The reason why legal services can be procured easily is because the cost is spread. Through you may find your lawyer extremely bad suited for overseeing the operations of the company. And most lawyers make very bad businessmen. So the best thing is to deal with our lawyers, or bring your lawyer for your advice. It's always allowed. And can my lawyers meet the lawyers responsible for the escrow account? I just need safety. That's another question that was raised. No, that's not possible. Unless you're putting up the full amount the entrepreneur needs to raise and he is in agreement with that, then your suggestion is impractical. If one other person puts in 1 shilling other than yours, then an independent escrow needs to be in operation. So I hope I've answered all your questions, and for more information, visit us on www.ninue.com. Thank you for your time. This is Mbugo Njoroge, and I'll see you next time.